Shakespeare play and they write an essay about the Shakespeare play. For the last play, we gave them the option of either doing that again or conducting a mock trial of one of the characters, Hamlet. And they chose to put on a mock trial instead of reciting their lines and writing their essays, which I think was a good choice. This has been very fun for them. But because you guys have not read Hamlet yet, we're going to start by just giving you a quick summary of part of the play so that you guys know what happened. And then you, in the audience, are going to be the jury in our trial. So pay close attention. Hamlet's fate is in your hands. Got it? This is so serious.
Quick question for no
You'll
bias.
find out.
I don't like this.
All right, my witnesses, do you guys want to stand so that you're in the... Okay. So as I'm reading the summary, they'll let you know which character they are. So pay attention.
Yes, but no.
He's Hamlet.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
The ghost of the King of Denmark, that's the ghost, tells his son Hamlet to avenge his murder by killing the new king, who is also Hamlet's uncle. That's the new king. Hamlet acts crazy. He does. And he contemplates life and death and seeks revenge. His uncle, fearing for his life, also devises a plot to kill Hamlet. Yeah. The play ends with a duel during which the king, the queen, Hamlet's opponent, and Hamlet himself are all killed. This happens a lot in Shakespeare. It's a tragedy. But the duel happens after our trial here today. A few more details for you guys so that you know who all these characters are. Late at night, guards on the battlements of Denmark's castle are met by Horatio, Prince Hamlet's friend from school. The guards describe a ghost that they have seen that resembles Hamlet's father, who is also the recently deceased king.
Such a resemblance.
They look a lot alike. At that moment, the ghost appears, and the guards and Horatio decide to tell Hamlet. Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, married Hamlet's recently widowed mother. Wow. Scandal. Becoming the new king.
Is that weird?
It is not that
It
weird.
is.
I'm not the first
Order
person to
in
do
the
it.
court. Hamlet, as you can see, continues to mourn for his father's death and laments his mother's lack of loyalty.
Excuse you. Watch your tongue.
When Hamlet hears of the ghost from Horatio, he wants to see it for himself. Elsewhere, the royal attendant Polonius says farewell to his son Laertes, who is departing for France. Laertes warns his sister. He's also Laertes. He's playing two parts. Laertes warns his sister Ophelia away from Hamlet, thinking too much of his attentions towards her. According to his plan, Hamlet begins to act strangely.
Do a flip.
Strange?
He rejects Ophelia. Sadness.
She's crazy.
While Claudius and Polonius, the royal attendants, spy on Hamlet. They had hoped to find a reason for Hamlet's sudden change in behavior, but could not. Claudius summons Guildenstern and Rosencrantz. She's both of them. We ran out of actors. Old friends of Hamlet, to find out what's got into him. Their arrival coincides with a group of traveling actors that Hamlet happens to know well. Hamlet writes a play which includes scenes that mimic the murder of his father.
He poured poison in his ear.
He did.
Who does that? Who does
I didn't know
that?
such thing.
Why not
During
repeat it
rehearsal,
to it?
Hamlet.
Foolish.
Calm down. We'll solve this.
During rehearsal, Hamlet and the actors plot to present Hamlet's play before the king and the queen. At the performance, Hamlet watches Claudius closely to see how he reacts to the murder scene. The play provokes Claudius, and he interrupts the action by storming out. There he goes. He immediately resolves to send Hamlet away. Hamlet is summoned by his distressed mother. She's distressed. Gertrude, and on the way, he happens upon Claudius kneeling and attempting to pray. Hamlet reasons that to kill the king now would only send his soul to heaven rather than hell. Hamlet decides to spare his life for the time being. Polonius hides in Gertrude's room to protect her from the unpredictable sound. When Hamlet arrives to scold his mother, he hears Polonius moving behind the tapestry. He stabs the tapestry, and in his doing so, kills Polonius. That's why he's not here today. He's the victim. The ghost of Hamlet's father reappears and warns his son not to delay revenge or upset his mother. Hamlet is sent to England supposedly as an ambassador, just as King Fortinbras of Norway crosses Denmark with an army to attack Poland. During his journey, Hamlet discovers Claudius has a plan to have him killed once he arrives. He returns to Denmark alone, sending his companions, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to their deaths in his place. And that is where, rejected by Hamlet, Ophelia is now desolate at the loss of her father. She's very sad. And that's where we're going to end, because the rest of the plot takes place after this track. All right, are we ready? Okay, have a seat, princess.
Crazy person.
The trial you're witnessing today is Hamlet versus the state of Denmark. Hamlet is being charged with murder in the second degree. The defendant has registered a plea of not guilty on all accounts due to diminished capacity and insanity. So you, the jurors, have to decide, is he guilty of murder or is he incompetent to withstand trial because he's crazy? All right. Prosecution.
Who said that?
Do you have an opening
Come here,
statement?
bud.
Come here. Come on.
Prosecution is going to make their opening statement.
Good morning, Your Honor and members of the jury. I am your prosecution attorney number 2, and I would like to open this case with the definitions of both malice and insanity. Malice. Malice consists of wickedness of disposition, hardness of heart, cruelty, recklessness of consequences, and a mind regardless of social duty.
Yeah, that's you.
Insanity. Insanity is established when A, the defendant had a mental infirmity, disease, or defect, and B, because of this condition, the defendant, 1, did not know what he or she was doing or its consequences, or 2, although the defendant knew what he or she was doing and its consequences, the defendant did not know what he or she was doing was wrong. Your Honor, the evidence will show that Hamlet acted with malice. You will hear testimony. It is clear that Hamlet killed someone, Polonius, with malice, and the defendant was filled with rage during this act, stabbing into the curtain because he heard a voice.
I thought it was
Although he killed Polonius, being filled with rage, Hamlet intended to kill someone, and that someone was the king. Your Honor, both the king and Gertrude mentioned in their witness statements that multiple times Hamlet had experienced recent erratic behaviors and that they troubled them. All of the evidence today goes to show that Hamlet killed Polonius with malice.
Defense, do you have an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Your Honor, members of the jury, my name is Morgan Michael, and my co-counsel, Jake McDonald, and I are representing Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, in this case. You may think it a little strange, but to some degree we agree with the fact that Prince Hamlet did kill Polonius, no doubt about that, as you will see in the chain of events. However, we say that Hamlet should not be condemned for second-degree murder for this reason. Hamlet has no reason. His mind is addled and his wits are twisted.
Hey.
I'm helping you out here, buddy. The defendant is mentally ill. Hamlet has lost touch with reality, and today we shall prove that. Hamlet has been hallucinating. He believes his father, though he is dead,
He's right there.
dictates his actions. He appears to have great internal conflict with his soul. He contemplates suicide as a mean of escape from his distraught state. And finally, Hamlet lives in a constant fear and paranoia. We will prove that even though Hamlet's mind was already deteriorating, it was not entirely his fault. And all the contributing witnesses in this trial poke and prod Hamlet for answers for his unreasonable madness, which is why Hamlet is paranoid. Wouldn't you be paranoid if your wicked stepfather hired someone to follow you around? Wouldn't you be heartbroken if your beloved mother threw out all her good and right morals to marry your late father's brother, your uncle?
I agree with her.
You don't understand, darling. Now,
I don't.
yes, no.
Talk about the humiliation. Hamlet's heart was shredded by the love of his life. His love was forbidden by a fair maiden. Instead, the people who he should call family who needed to aid him in his suffering, they didn't. They did the exact opposite. They intended to get rid of Hamlet by sending him off to England. Instead of these witnesses helping Hamlet overcome his troubles, they created more. Therefore, Prince Hamlet should not even be condemned of second-degree murder because he is too insane to withstand a trial. It's not Hamlet's fault that he's crazy. An unfortunate chain of events and the hardness of his so-called family's hearts is what provoked him into lunacy. But here we are, and I can only hope that Hamlet does not undergo any more pains due to this trial. I hope that you will side with the defendant, for if you don't, I fear Prince Hamlet's mental state will reach a capacity that is incurable. We are sorry that this death occurred, but if you do not vote in favor of the defendant, more fear and more angst and more sorrow will occur, not just for Hamlet, but for all the attendants of this party. Please find Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, not guilty of second-degree murder, but rather find Hamlet to fit the criteria of the plea for insanity. He's crazy.
Thank you, attorney. Prosecution, would you like to call your first witness?
I would like to call Gertrude to the stand, please.
That mic was in my way. Somebody should have moved it.
Queen Gertrude?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? So
As if you could
I
trust
swear.
her.
He's dead in the ground.
He's right there.
Right.
He's right there.
Is this
Right there.
No, he's not.
Can you not see the crown in the
Hamlet,
glass?
he's dead in the ground.
Nothing
Stop
there,
looking
foolish
for your
boy.
You're in
father.
the court.
Shut up.
Hamlet.
Do you see what I have to pay?
Gertrude,
Yes.
can you explain what your relation is to Hamlet?
My one and only son.
Yeah, with her old husband.
Move on.
Were you
It's
close?
been like
Did
2
you-
months.
Did you know each
Move
other?
on! No! Of course, he's my son. I raised him. He was always such a sweet, gentle boy.
So, being close to him, tell me about his childhood. Did he ever seem to have any mental problems or seem to be crazy?
Of course not. Hamlet had the best childhood any prince could have.
Yeah, right up until my dad was murdered. By my new dad.
Control thy tongue.
Where were you the night of the murder?
I was in my chamber. I saw it all.
Can you walk me through the night? Explain what happened.
Well, you see, it was right after the play, and Claudius, the poor dear, was mad. Stormed out in a bit of rage, and I wanted to talk to Hamlet to see why he was acting the way he was. And well, of course, Polonius was there, so I told him to stay and be a backup if needed. But Hamlet then came in a rage and fury, and I told him, Hamlet, thy father you have much offended. And then he told me, my father I had thus offended. This is him talking, of course. And he wasn't making any sense. He was talking nonsense. Well then, he forced me to sit down in a chair, and he told me he was going to hold a glass upon me, and I thought he was going to kill me, my own son. So of course I had to scream for help. And Polonius, old fool, he did the same. But then Hamlet lost all control. He screamed, dead for a ducat, dead, and can't speak. The sword went right in the middle of the curtain, and Polonius was
Gertrude, you mentioned multiple times that you and both the king were scared for your lives. Is this true?
Why do I care
Well,
about
of course it is. Hamlet completely started acting differently.
You mentioned a play. Can you explain that play and walk me through that?
Yes. The play that Hamlet wanted to put on was called The Murder of Gonzago, and ironically, it was about a king who was murdered.
that? Funny.
Yes.
How did the king communicate to you how he felt about this play? Like, do you think he felt offended or threatened?
Oh, definitely. He stormed out of the building. I couldn't find him after that, but
Maybe because he felt guilty for killing his brother.
I didn't know such thing on subjects. Don't listen to him.
I would attest. He is.
So back to the night of the murder.
No.
You said that there was a voice that called out help. Correct.
it was a voice.
Can you describe that voice? Was it deep, high?
Yes, but deep was clearly human out of a man.
Where did he stab into the curtain? Was it high, low?
Well, right in the middle, I'd say. Like, maybe a little below the heart. It's enough to kill
As
a
if
human.
he was aiming for somewhere
Yes.
mid. Okay.
Yes, human.
Okay.
That was him. He's tall.
When he stabbed into that curtain, did it seem he had the intent to kill?
Why, yes, he was screaming in rage.
You mentioned in your witness statement that Hamlet had a high training and education. Can you elaborate on that?
He has the best to offer for a prince. He went to university in England, which is where he met his
My what?
friends. Well, they were very good companions, but the point was that he had very high quality education, enough to prepare him for the throne someday.
Yeah, until you sold me out.
I didn't sell you out.
How much did you pay?
No.
What, 30 shekels of
He
silver?
went, did I
Huh?
say that he went to England?
Yes, you mentioned that he went to England.
Trying to help you.
England. Do you believe that someone that is insane or mentally ill could uphold such a high and amazing education?
No, absolutely not. It's pristine more than any of the commoners could have.
Thank you.
Defense, would you like to cross-examine Gertrude?
Yeah.
Wow, you really dress for the occasion, attorney. Nice job.
I worked really hard on that.
Okay.
So,
Attaboy.
This wasn't a Zoom meeting, you know.
Proceed, attorney.
okay. So, Miss Gertrude, what was your relationship with Hamlet?
I'm sorry, what? This thing.
What was your relationship with Hamlet?
Oh, yes, that. I'd already mentioned that. He's my son.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd like to, I'm assuming since you've grown up with Hamlet, you know a fair bit about him, correct?
Obviously, I'm his mother.
Okay. Has Hamlet's mental state gone downhill since the king died?
Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing off. Can you repeat the question?
You gonna listen?
Witness,
You're gonna ask the
answer
question?
the attorney.
So when Hamlet's father died, did his mental state go downhill?
Suppose it did.
Okay. And speaking of fathers, which of the two did you like better?
Answer the question, Mom.
Well, suppose they were both had, very fine qualities about them that made them very good, strong leaders and kings.
Name 'em.
You're not the attorney.
Questioning.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Don't worry, I got
The
you, buddy.
attorneys. Proceed.
So you have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So would you mind answering that question?
Well, you see, it is quite difficult. I mean, Hamlet did go off and fight many, many wars. I mean, Claudius just stayed home and did whatever a king's brother would do.
Well, why don't we move on from that?
Yes.
So why do you think Hamlet dislikes you so much?
He willikers. I wonder if it could be because she married my uncle.
Let the witness answer.
Well, I don't think it's dislike. I think it's kind of strange transition period, in a sense. I mean, I did something that any queen in my position would do. I suppose I did do something that he didn't prefer, but I hope he understands that I did it for his sake.
So right before Hamlet's father unfortunately died, was he a kind and happy kid?
Yes.
And then after his father died, did it all go downhill from there?
It did. It did.
No further questions.
Okay, prosecution, would you like to, Queen Gertrude, you can lead the stand. Prosecution, would you like to call your second witnesses? Witnesses, plural?
You can knock things.
One last thing.
Yes, please don't. No.
I would like to call Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to the
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, raise your right hand. Do you both swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm crazy.
There's a shortage of actors.
So what is y'all's names?
I'm Guildenstern, and I'm Rosencrantz.
Alright. So what were y'all's relationship with Hamlet?
Well, see, we attended university with him.
Were y'all close?
Oh, quite close.
How could you define that?
Well, we went to school together, and we formed a close companionship.
And you went to Denmark, correct?
Oh, yes, of course.
How did y'all get there?
Oh, well, we were given a letter, and we sailed across the sea.
And why did y'all go to Denmark?
Well, as I stated before, we received a letter from our noble king, King Claudius, and his noble mother.
And they say,
Hamlet's
hey,
mother,
come
I mean.
spy on your friend.
And what did the letter say?
Well, he wanted us to come and help with Hamlet's grief. He seemed to be quite transformed, I think, as he put it, after the loss of his father. Grieving. So of course we wanted to help in any way possible. If we could make the help him anyway.
And what did y'all do while y'all were in Denmark?
Well, we quite a few things actually. Well, we got some players who we knew and Hamlet knew while we were at Wittenberg, and we decided we would try and improve his mood through an actor's spirit, for what great joy can overcome great sorrow.
Alright, and while you were there, what was Polonius's mood?
Well, we did come across Polonius a couple of times. In fact, we saw him with Hamlet in the garden, and Polonius seemed quite flustered. If I must say, he greeted us quite curtly, if I do remember correctly, and told us was where we would find Hamlet when we went to go tell him about the players.
Do you know why his mood was off?
I believe there was something about Ophelia, his daughter, and Hamlet, but I'm not quite sure. Oh, the king and the queen know much more about that than I would, or than we would.
And did y'all have any way to like improve his mood or anything?
Oh yes, the players that we had mentioned. We decided we would throw a play of some kind.
And what was that play?
I believe it was the one that the queen had mentioned.
Okay. And who did you all see at the play?
Well, the king, Gertrude, Ophelia, Polonius, rest his soul. And
Was Hamlet there?
oh yes, Hamlet was there.
And did you ever speak to Hamlet while you were there?
We did speak to Hamlet. In fact, after the king had stormed out, Hamlet called some reporters to come play. And by goodness, he told me, Guildenstern, that I had to play the reporter even though I know not a note of it.
And what was Hamlet's full reaction to the players?
He was quite glad that the players had come. In fact, his mood when we first greeted him was quite solemn and with no mirth. But when we told him of the players, his mood seemed to improve. So he seemed quite
Did anything feel different about Hamlet from when, y'all saw him at school and from now him being in Denmark? Was anything different?
I mean, he was transformed in a way. His grief, I believe, made him that way.
Yeah, my dad died. Interesting, really, what the murder of your father can do for you.
Well, I must say, that's why we went and came to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Get over that.
Mm-hmm.
Move on.
What was it
Did
in
y'all
there?
talk to anyone else at the play?
I can't quite recall.
What did the king possibly talk to you?
Oh yes, the king talked to us.
Alright, did he ask you anything or tell you anything to
Oh.
do?
He wanted us to bring Hamlet to England because his mood seemed quite downtrodden, and the king was quite upset at what had occurred at the play, and to protect the many, many bodies that feed off the king, and to help Hamlet, of course, we decided we would take him to England. I mean, he almost begged us to.
And skipping forward after Polonius' tragic death, you said in your witness statement that that you confronted Hamlet about Polonius' death.
Oh, we did. I must tell you, I must say, Hamlet, he jested about Polonius' death. For goodness sake, I apologize. It was quite shocking.
Kind of funny.
We confronted Hamlet about Polonius' death and asked him where we would find his body, for it was missing. We could not find it.
Be respectful.
And when we asked him where we might find Polonius' body, he told us he was at dinner. And by this, he meant at dinner for the worms.
I mean,
And
was I
how
wrong?
was his well-being? How was he acting
Acting?
when you confronted about it?
He was jesting the whole way.
So you would say he was acting plainly?
Oh yes, he
about
was
it.
plainly
I have no
showed no remorse at all.
All right, defense, would you like to cross-examine the witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to cross-examine
Do you know how to play this, anybody? I still have no idea how to play the
You know
recorder.
how to play it. Be quiet.
Behave yourselves.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Hello, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Good day, madam.
Would you say that you had a really close relationship with Hamlet?
I mean, yes, we went to school with him, companions.
Yeah? Were y'all guys like besties, the little trio?
Oh yes, certainly.
Yeah.
No.
Or, yeah.
I suppose.
So, you would obviously say that you know Hamlet very well, so seeing as how you guys know each other so well, what actions is he normally prone to?
Well, he has quite a wit, I must say. He is changed, I suppose.
Especially
Yes.
when y'all guys
Did
came,
that.
right?
Well, his transformation of a sort did shock us in a way.
So, why did the king send for you?
To improve Hamlet's mood.
To improve his mood, right?
Yes.
Because his mood was strange, right?
Well, his grief.
My grief from what?
Loss of his father.
Oh, right. My dad being murdered.
Move on. For goodness sake, it's been 2 whole months.
During your
Poor Mom.
encounters and meetings with Hamlet, how would you describe his character?
Perfectly normal.
Yes.
I wasn't asking you. See, what you don't know is that if somebody is crazy, of course they're going to admit that they're normal because they want to deny it themselves.
So he's in denial?
Yes. So this is out of Hamlet's character. Why did you guys bring the players?
Well, to improve his mood, in a way, somehow.
Is it true that the king was paying you a mighty fine sum of money for visiting your dear old friend?
Well, you see, we were compensated for our time.
Yes or no?
There is no way a commoner could
Did the
afford
king
such
pay
big
you
travel.
to babysit Hamlet?
Well, you see now,
Yes or no, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
Answer the question.
we may have come across a little money.
All right. So, what is your Dreadfully sorry. What is your Polonius, yes, the victim. What is your relationship with him?
I mean, we knew of him.
You knew of him? Yeah. Was Hamlet uneasy with the... No. So, when the play did come, how did Hamlet respond during the play?
Well, he seemed to be quite overjoyed, so we thought our plan was working. Of course, that was until the king stormed out and he seemed... Hamlet changed a little bit. He seemed to be plotting something.
Speaking of plotting something, why did the king ask you to take Hamlet away?
To England?
Yes, to England.
Well, maybe something about a death warrant?
Maybe something about a what? I couldn't hear that.
Death?
Warrant? A death warrant. Oh, and why would the king want to kill his son if he loves him so much?
I mean, like, okay, wait. He just wanted us to take him to England so he could have a break.
So you weren't really trying
Yeah,
to
from-
help. You weren't really trying to help Hamlet. You were in it for the money. No further questions. No further questions.
Okay, witness, you may leave the stand.
What a great friend you are.
Prosecution, do you have a third witness to bring to the
Great
stand?
friend.
So sorry for Hamlet.
Why?
I feel sorry for a murderer.
Oh, the murder your own son. That's good.
He's not my dad.
You're not supposed to say my I name. would like to call King
Stabbed
Claudius
father,
to the stage.
stabbed son.
Hey,
King
you.
Claudius.
Claudius. You're a horrible mother.
No.
King Claudius, raise your right hand. Order in the court. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on my king.
King Claudius. What is your relation to Hamlet?
Well, Hamlet is my nephew, and now my recent stepson.
How long have you known him?
Well, for his whole life, since he was born.
Did he ever seem crazy or as if he didn't know right from wrong?
No, he's a very intelligent child. And
Did
sorry, Hamlet, the adults are talking.
You said that the defendant has had recent erratic behaviors. Can you elaborate on some of these erratic behaviors?
Oh yes. Well, he's been rambling, considering having suicidal thoughts. He's also, well, the most recent case was some verbal abuse that came from Hamlet towards his mother, of all things, and he's very conniving in general.
How did you feel that he did this to your wife?
Very angry.
Were you scared for the queen? Were you worried about the queen?
Yes, but before the attack happened, I'd actually sent my trusty friend Polonius to be in the room with her so nothing bad would happen, because I was scared for her life.
Where were you on the night of her?
So, I had just gotten done planning a wonderful vacation for my son Hamlet with his two best friends.
What he told
And
me.
To the afterlife?
So he talked to England. He told me the same exact thing.
Same thing.
I trust him.
then my wife Gertrude said she wanted to talk to Hamlet, so then I sent Polonius, and then I stepped out for a little while.
What made you want to send Hamlet away to?
Well, like I say, he's very conniving, and also I felt threatened by a recent play where the
Why would you-
nephew kills the uncle. So,
dear old dad, why would you
Oh,
ever
wow,
feel threatened about us?
Can you elaborate on that play? Take me through the emotions. What
Yes.
happened? How you
So, we were all seeing through the play that Hamlet had helped to write, and I was shocked to see later in the play that a character, the nephew, killed the uncle, the king, later on. So I felt as if this was aimed at me.
So you
Why
felt
ever
threatened.
would you think that, dearest Daddy-kin?
So you felt threatened,
Yes.
as if maybe this somehow could be a planned thing.
It felt like a lot of malice.
What was your relationship with Polonius like?
He was a good friend of mine, one of my trusted advisors.
Thank you.
Defense, would you like to cross-examine the witness? Quickly.
Good morning.
Morning.
What was your relationship with Hamlet?
Well, like I said before, Hamlet is my nephew and recent stepson. Sadly.
Sadly?
Sorry, what was that?
As of now,
You know
I
what's
would not
sad?
like a murderer
You know
as a stepson.
Oh, I don't want a murderer as a dad. That's crazy.
I
It's
don't
like
want
vomit.
The attorneys are asking the questions here.
So, did you really know Hamlet before your arrangement with your wife?
Yes. I did.
Why do you think Hamlet now dislikes you?
I don't know. Maybe he's jealous of me that I'm the king and he's not. Could be it. Feeling a little, I don't know.
Maybe a little angry. Maybe I don't like you because you killed my dad. They married my mom.
There's no evidence. There's no such thing.
You have a wedding ring, don't you?
Hamlet.
If you say you care about Hamlet, what have you done to try and help him so far?
So I tried to, early on, find out the cause of his recent reckless behaviors. And I thought at first it was a love sickness, since he wasn't able to be with Ophelia. But yeah. But I see it's much worse.
So because you are such a caring father and you plan this trip, what does this trip exactly entail?
Well, it entails going across the sea to England, which is a great country. I don't know if any of you have been, but very tranquil. And also he was with his two best friends. And yeah, maybe there was something else planned towards the end of it. But,
What?
A surprise.
yeah, a surprise.
What sort of surprise?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
curious what's on the side.
It's a surprise. I can't tell you.
Surprise. Well,
I can't, my queen. I just wanted to see
he was going to take a trip to the gallows, you'd say.
Oh, okay. It was
So-
a break.
Elaborate on that.
We're gonna skip past that because I don't know how to answer that or ask questions about that. But where did you go after the play? Because you were upset.
Yes. I had to step out for a little bit, and I decided to take a little stroll out to the garden and just sit there for a little bit.
So why did you send spies on him?
I wouldn't say spying. I had some people look into what may be causing Hamlet's distress at first to try to help him.
And he acted strange, correct?
Yes, he was acting strange.
Perfectly
Did they
normal.
mention anything about a ghost, per se?
Well, my wife told me that Hamlet says he saw a ghost, but I don't believe it.
Okay.
Has this ghost been a big factor of Hamlet's mental instability?
It seems like an excuse to me, but that
unstable.
could be it.
Look
I'm trying
at
to help you.
Look at me.
I know we're friends,
Look
but I'm
at
trying
me.
to help you.
I'm perfectly.
He's your attorney,
Um,
Hamlet.
He's your friend now?
Well, he's trying to help.
So,
He was trying to kill me.
in your opinion, did Hamlet change after he went to the graveyard and met the so-called ghost or previous king, as he calls it?
I guess you could say that, yes.
I have no further questions, thank you.
All right, prosecution, would you like to call your fourth and final witness?
Let's hear more of that revelation.
Oh my gosh, where's your dad go? There's an acting shortage.
Where did you come from?
Hamlet, where'd your dad go?
He's back. Bonjour,
Laertes, raise your right hand. Laertes, raise your right hand. You swear to
I'll
tell
wake
the
him up when
truth,
it's
the whole
his
truth,
turn.
and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Laertes, where were
Quite
you
surprising.
when you found out your father had died?
France.
France. Okay. And why were you in France?
I wanted to go to France. I like the Jets.
And you said in your witness statement that you rushed back home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did I do
And who were some people that you first saw when you got back? Who did you go to see?
I went to go see my sister, and I discussed what had happened on the first day.
And was there anything that you know of that Polonius did to hurt Hamlet, or something that he did to Hamlet to make this happen?
My father was not the type of man to provoke anyone in any way. He loved his family and knows about it.
And and when you talked to Ophelia, what did she talk to you about? Did she happen to talk about anything with Hamlet and their relationship?
Yes, she despite me and my father's best recommendations, she insisted on staying in a relationship with Hamlet, despite both of us.
Look, dude, I told her no too. This isn't my fault.
You led me on.
No, I didn't.
In an effort to protect
You're
her from
clingy.
Hamlet, we both told her to cease seeing him and helping with him.
And did Polonius have any other ideas to when he talked to Ophelia about protecting her? Did he ask her to?
He actually told her to return all of the letters that Hamlet had sent her beforehand. This was, originally, we had left it up to her to decide if she trusted Hamlet, but as his mental state got worse, my father decided that to forcefully end any communication between the two.
So he was doing this to protect Ophelia.
Absolutely.
And Ophelia.
Defense, would you like to cross-examine the witness, Laertes?
Yes, please. do with the thought and the idea and the actual happening of Hamlet dating your sister?
We
Before
were never
his mental
dating.
state deteriorated so far, I trusted my sister's judgment.
Do you dislike
From
Hamlet?
the start.
I just killed my dad. You know I love the guy. Of course I hate you.
She said me.
So, as you have been saying, do you think that Hamlet is mentally unstable?
Absolutely.
Not.
Whoa. That's pretty perfect, seeing as how you're on the prosecution. What's the difference between emotionally unstable and mentally unstable?
Emotionally unstable leads to being emotionally unstable. Your emotions are
Be an expert.
He took a psych class this past
Not at all. I believe that Hamlet was emotionally unstable more so than he was mentally.
I was perfectly fine both days.
Do you think that with your sister liking Hamlet and Hamlet being emotionally, which I also might play into being mentally unstable, do you think it rubbed off on Ophelia in the end of the relationship?
I believe it was the murder of her father.
She's
that caused
crazy.
her mental state of deterioration.
You're crazier than I am.
And
Yeah.
would you say that it is pretty absurd for
Crazy.
just haphazardly?
Crazy in love, never have I.
Maybe crazy. Dude.
I have no further questions.
Okay, does the prosecution rest? All right, defense, would you like to call your first witness?
Yes. We would like to call Ophelia to the stand, please.
She's helping you. You're making fun of her.
Hmm?
She's helping you. You're making fun of her.
Ophelia, raise your right hand.
She's the one that was like,
oh, Hamlet, I'm in love with you. Hamlet, get it together here.
I went, no, find something better to do with your life.
I love you. Don't toy with people.
I told her straight up, listen.
Alright, Hamlet.
Hamlet,
I'm
Let
ready.
Ophelia speak.
These are your attorneys talking. They're here to help
All right.
you.
So what would you say
It's a
was your
Ophelia,
relationship with Hamlet?
We were very close. I'd say we were very close.
Yeah. Would you say that Hamlet is innocent of rape?
He definitely murdered someone, but he was innocent. But he's crazy, out of his mind.
Uh-huh. Right.
So what events led up to the official breakup?
We were never dating. There was never an official breakup because it was.
You're not on the stand.
You're not on the stand yet.
Let her explain her pain.
He's mental. Give him a break.
He's 2 months old. Leave him alone.
You're supposed to give him a break.
The question was, what led to the official breakup?
Well, lots of things up to it, but it started when my father forbid me from talking to him, and then, we had a little chat, and he broke up with me.
That's very, very sad. Did your brother Laertes warn you about having a relationship with Hamlet?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't worried about it at the time, so I told him not to worry about it.
So do you think Laertes and your father had right reasoning when they warned you because of Hamlet's deteriorating mind?
My mind. No.
He was just leaving on one day he hit us, which is what happened.
Why do you think Hamlet went mad?
Me and my father believed it because I was forbidden from talking to him. He was so madly in love with me that that's what made him crazy.
So in your witness statement, you had mentioned that Hamlet came to your room once. What did he do to you?
He just walked in and he grabbed my arms and he held my face. He didn't say one word. He just stood there and breathed heavily. And then
So King Claudius friends to spy on Hamlet. Did you fall into this trap as well? Were you one of his spies?
Well, my father also asked me to help out, just to see if he was crazy, is because he isn't,
In one of your conversations with Hamlet, how did that go?
Sure, a
The
conversation.
conversation when you were spying.
Well, I guess he would get that confused. He walked in, he would see me, and he was monologuing to himself, like contemplating that he was like, to be or not to be, I don't know. And then once he saw me,
Perfectly normal thing to do. Perfectly normal thing to do.
okay.
Isn't that right, Stefano?
There you go.
No, York is a human skull. His skull is probably bigger.
I love York at all.
Yorick? Where did you get York?
This is
All
where
right.
I'm England. So, are you done answering that question? You want to
Well, no, there's a bit more. I said, like I said, I missed him, and that, and he was like, no, I don't miss you, and then it was awful, really. And then he started not only digging in on me, but digging on just women altogether, and how awful women are, and how deceitful and terrible they are, and how he wishes marriages would end forever. It was not.
Yes, I said that.
After that came the play.
I mean, with you is my role
And
model. What else could I say?
he chose to sit next to you
Right
and
next to me.
right next
Yep.
to you. Was it awkward?
You never did.
Well, he acted like nothing had happened, and this was, the night of that day, so he sat
The
next
night, the day that you had the argument.
Yes.
So, what did he do during the entire play?
He seemed, very excited and happy, and he was, during the play, he was still making passive-aggressive comments about women and how terrible they are, and, digging in on me as well, so, he was still happy though. He was acting like a little, deranged. Yeah.
Huh?
All right, last question. Do you think that Hamlet's madness has rubbed off on you in the end?
No, I'm perfect. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
She's crazy.
He's
don't
no,
listen
no,
to her.
he's out
Nope.
of his mind.
Nope.
I'm probably the only sane one in this whole room, honestly.
You and
Definitely
me,
not.
sister. All right, no further questions.
All right, prosecution, would you like to cross-examine the witness?
You said earlier that Hamlet looked happy when you first got to the play. And did he seem to be planning anything, or did you hear of anybody telling you that?
I don't know, really. He was just acting all strange.
And what was your relationship with Hamlet again?
Well, it's been all sorts of things, but before the incident where he broke my heart, we were dating.
And is it true that you still love him right now?
Well, I don't know if I could love a crazy person.
But if he was how you say he was at the beginning, in your words, you would still be in love. And was there any problems with your father about y'all being together?
Well, he just, he said I could talk to him. Yeah, because he was like deceitful or something.
And were there any disputes with your father and Hamlet personally?
They would bicker and, sometimes they would get on each other's nerves, but that's.
So would you say that they sometimes had, like, that they could have feelings against each other to create further problems?
I'm not my father.
I have no further questions.
The witness may leave the stand. Defense, do you have another witness to call? His name?
May the previous king and ghost please come up.
What?
It's a ghost?
Huh? I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
May the previous king and or ghost come up.
He's dead. He can't come up from the floor.
There's no such thing as ghosts.
No,
This is
absolutely not.
unconventional.
We have established this.
But
Wait a minute.
since he was mentioned in the
I learned
testimony,
this in law school. You can't do this. Where is he?
Well, any
Law
sensible person
school
would
was
know
watching
I don't
that
know if
ghosts
he
do not come up
Order
from the
in the
ground.
court. Okay,
Watching
order in
legally
the
born
court.
17 times.
Hey, that count.
Order
The
in the
goose is
court.
right there.
It's going to be difficult to know whether or not the witness is actually obeying my commands here, but ghost and former king, can you raise your right hand?
There's nothing there.
He's right there.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
He said yes.
He said yes.
He said
Okay.
yes.
All right.
So, did you tell Hamlet to kill the king?
Yes.
I can't
Yeah,
hear
he did.
anything, obviously, because there's nothing
He did,
there.
He's right there.
Since nobody can see the ghost, can we have
can see the
Hamlet be
ghost.
an interpreter?
Sure, I'm hungry. I'm ready to get Hamlet, can you interpret for the goats?
So, before you get on to this, Hamlet, do you promise you will only say what the ghost says word for word?
Yes.
So, Hamlet, just to be clear, Hamlet will be interpreting the testimony of the ghost.
Yes, he will not be adding on his opinions or anything. He will only be saying what the ghost says. Do you agree?
Correct.
Okay. So, ghost, did you tell Hamlet to kill the king?
I told Hamlet to exact justice on the men that harmed me, my family, and my kingdom.
Yes.
Really, I am curious. What's your favorite food since you're undead? Dead?
This is so disrespectful to my brother's memory. How dare you?
You know what else
Nothing
is
there.
disrespectful?
You know what else is disrespectful?
Hamlet.
Killing him!
I'm here to interpret
What did the ghost say?
Is this relevant to the
Favorite food.
trial?
Sure.
He says hot dogs.
Did you
Oh, what?
did you influence Hamlet's decisions as he went along since he discovered you?
He listened to me because I am his father.
So he said that I listened to him because he's my dad, which is true.
Would you say your authority or commands have driven him a little mental unstable?
I only spoke truth. If the truth led to his mental instability, then possibly.
So I'm going to quote him. He says, I only said the truth, and Hamlet has stayed mentally stable throughout the entire ordeal.
So, since you're his father, have you been watching over him over the course of these events?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you say that his mental state has plummeted since the first king was alive? Or you? Yes.
I cannot deny that Hamlet's mental state has deteriorated in light of recent events, but his new father and the king has done nothing to assist him. Palladius could poison me physically, but he poisoned my son mentally.
No. but Claudius has the ability to make
Why
it
is everybody
much
laughing?
worse.
I don't know.
Because
Jerry,
he
what's
poisoned
going
me
on?
physically.
Does Hamlet listen to your commands?
Yes, because I'm his dad.
Yes, because he's my dad.
And lastly, why don't you show yourself to others?
I choose. I can't.
Can't.
It
Hold
is
on.
difficult for me to reveal myself to more than one person at a time, so I choose to reveal myself to just Hamlet.
It is difficult for him to reveal himself to more than one person at a time, so he chooses to just reveal himself to me.
Were you saying everything he said?
Yes.
I felt like
Yes.
Well,
Where is he?
paraphrasing.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, prosecution, would you like to cross-examine the ghost?
You're buying this? Really? You're doing this? My lady, you're fired.
Mr. Ghost, you come around here often?
I live here.
She wants to ask you on a date, bro.
He used to live here.
Can the ghost identify himself, give us a sign, anything?
My words through Hamlet should be sufficient.
He says that his words through me should be sufficient.
I have one question.
Shoot.
To be or not to be?
That truly is the question.
He says that truly is the question.
Your Honor, this is absurd. There's nobody there.
He's
How can
right
we trust that
He's
Hamlet is
literally
like...
right here. I don't know
But
what you're
this
talking
is
about.
good.
Clearly, he's
There's nobody there.
He's relevant to the case. He was the original
you
murder
see the
victim.
crown, the glasses. Look at his thick eyebrows. He looks just like my dad.
Prosecution, do you have any further questions? Okay.
No. Of course he
Ghost,
didn't. Kings
you
don't
may
have
leave the stand. Hamlet, you may.
How dare you, peasant?
A floating crown!
He's a noble king. Defense, would you like to call witness?
Noble failure.
Yes, Your Honor, we have but one witness left.
Sit down, Hamlet.
And that witness is none other than Hamlet.
Hamlet, back to the.
You want your cat? No, I'll take this.
Take a
one.
seat.
Going
Guess what? It's your turn.
Hamlet, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes.
Sit down. Sit. Oh, sorry.
You got this, buddy.
Describe to me your mental condition as of right now.
Perfectly fine. I'm a little hungry, and I want lunch.
You had
Okay.
a very good lunch before you came
All right.
here.
How do you feel about King Gertrude and Queen? I'm sorry. King. About King Claudius and Queen Gertrude's marriage.
It's a horrible union between two very bad people that I dislike immensely. So basically, it only took like a month after my dad was murdered by Claudius. How do you like it now? Now you can't talk to me, sucker. After he murdered my dad, he then like took a month and then married my mom just to add insult to the injury.
Forget it. So obviously you hate the king.
Yes, he should die. I'm gonna kill him actually.
Okay, continuing on, that's a
That's-
different trial for a
That's
different
okay,
time.
yeah, okay.
We're gonna talk about the person you did kill, Polonius. What is your relationship with Polonius?
Who?
Polonius, the man that you murdered by mistake.
Gift from
For cold hard cash.
Who was he?
Ophelia's dad.
Oh!
So, like, his daughter thought that his daughter was in love with me, and thought that I liked her back, but she was reading too much into it. All right. So he was mad at me, maybe. I don't think I ever really talked to him. I don't know. He was kind of boring.
So, did you see your father's ghost?
Yep, he's with him.
Can
he was just
Can you
we just said the whole thing.
describe to us what he looks like, seeing as how none of us know the king?
Is he like wandering around?
No, he's just sitting there. He's right next to you. You know what my dad looked like when he was alive? No. You guys know what he looked like? Well, you know. You were the last person to see him when he was alive. But the rest of you, he looks like that, but white. Like pale and see-through.
So, when the ghost talked to you, what did he say when you guys had that meeting?
So he told me that Claudius, who I already didn't like, because again the whole like marrying my mom thing, so he told me that Claudius was actually the one that killed him, and that I needed to take revenge and kill him because he was a bad person.
So, you let the ghost dictate your actions.
What? Well, he was my dad.
Would you say that the ghost like talks to you inside your head?
Not inside my head. He's right there. We have normal conversations.
But seeing as how he can only talk to you,
Yeah.
it's just in your
No.
brain.
He could talk to other people. He just doesn't want to.
So why did
Not
you
weird.
treat Ophelia so badly?
Yeah, why did you?
Because someone wouldn't leave me alone. I told her multiple times. I went, "Hey, girl, you know, there's nothing here. There's nothing going on between us. All right?" And she was like, "No, Hamlet, I love you." And I told her,
Is this relevant to the case?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm getting to a
Okay,
point.
let's get to it. We're hungry.
Yes, Your Honor, we are
"Are we
hungry.
doing
What do you
justice?
have against women?
Yeah, what do you have against women?
You should explain.
Do you want an itemized list, or do you want me to paraphrase?"
Answer the question, Hamlet.
Paraphrase.
Quite frankly,
This is in character. Nothing I say can or will be used against me.
There's 24 women in this room. Choose your words carefully.
Why some of your jurors are, in fact, women.
Almost all of them.
they're kind of useless.
What?
Yeah.
You have to see how useless we can be.
Alright, moving on. So,
Amen,
Caleb
brother.
started Rosencrantz
Amen.
and Ophelia.
Caleb,
and
wait,
Polonius. Quiet on the set.
Procedure.
Caleb started Rosencrantz, Ophelia, and Polonius were all spying on you
Yep.
because the king thought you were mad, right?
Yep.
Alright.
Who's
So,
crazy now?
because all of these witnesses were spying on you, would you say, a little paranoid that they were following you?
I mean, yeah, a little bit, because when you've got like 4 people all watching, well, I guess 5, 4, 5.
Continuing.
Yeah, because when you've got people watching your every move and trying to kill you, on orders from your dad, yeah, that would make anybody a little paranoid, yeah.
So, describe to me the night that you killed Polonius.
So, I was going to my mom's room. She wanted to talk to me for whatever reason. And so I go in because I'm a good kid. And so, you know, we get to talking.
Talk? Would
Yeah,
you call
we-
that
we-
a talk?
Yeah, we get to talking anyway. And I'm talking to her like a normal person does. And having a great discussion and explaining my problems with her and with Yep, I was explaining my problems with her. And then she gets all riled up and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna hurt me." You see, this is what I don't like women. And so then she yelled for help, and then I heard a manly voice yelling for help behind the curtain. So I went, "Oh, that's gotta be this piece of garbage." So I pulled out my sword and I stabbed him.
You can't stab him yet, I need you to pay me. So, when you stabbed him,
Womp womp.
in your witness in your witness statement and in Gertrude's witness statement, so both of these 2 facts are true. You said dead for a ducat, a rat, or something along those lines. Basically, you were declaring the man in the curtain to be a rat,
Yes,
but he wasn't a rat. So did you
he's very clearly a rat.
Oh.
Only a rat would poison their brother. Through the ear.
Wait, so let me get this straight. You were trying to kill King Claudius,
Yes.
but you mistook him But you mistook Polonius for a rat, and you're saying that Claudius is the rat,
A rat,
but
yes.
Polonius ended up being the rat that you killed.
Yes.
That's confusing.
Yes.
Last question.
Okay.
You joked about Polonius's death. Why do you think death is funny?
Well, I mean, objectively, from a standpoint as an outside observer
we go
looking
again.
into the knowable universe, right? When we look at ourselves and we understand just how fleetingly small our lives are and how absolutely inconsequential anything we do is, absolutely, right? If you look at it properly, death is kind of hilarious because you go through all this struggle, you poison your brother, you marry his wife, you do everything, and in the end, you're an insignificant little piece of dust. You don't matter.
Okay.
All right.
It's hilarious.
No further questions.
Does the prosecution want to very quickly cross-examine the witness?
Yeah, I'm
And then we're
hungry.
going to have very, very, very quick closing arguments. So
Alright.
do some editing over there.
Hamlet, did you say in your witness statement that you were consumed with rage and despair?
Yes.
Or no? And so, and you just mentioned, and you've mentioned several times today, that you want to kill
Yes,
your,
I'm
your stepfather.
I'm going to kill him.
And
He's going to die.
And you believe that the person behind the curtain was.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that you, with malice, purposefully thought it out and stabbed the person behind the curtain, thinking it was the king. Yes or no? Because you just said that you meant to.
No.
You want to kill the king and you thought it was the king. Yes.
I was going to kill the king.
Right. You thought it was king, so you meant to do it.
I thought I was stabbing the king.
So you did it on purpose with
I
malice.
was going to kill the king.
So yes, you killed the person behind the curtain.
No, I
Whether who
didn't.
it was.
It was some
with
dude.
malice.
No, I was killing him.
Okay. So do you
Supposed to do that.
do you think that this death was tragic? Or no?
It's kind of funny. I mean, he was supposed to die, but instead some dude was just.
But do you think Polonius dying is tragic? Or no?
I mean, I didn't really know the guy, so like, who really cares, you know?
I don't know.
All right, Hamlet, you may leave the stand. Prosecution, do you have a very, very brief closing argument statement?
Yes.
Make it quick. Go.
I bring to the court once again that Hamlet indeed did kill Polonius with malice. Although he did not know who was actually behind the curtain, he thought it was the king, and he intentionally did it on purpose with malice. Hamlet was filled with hate due to Claudius killing his father, and he was also in the middle of Rex's love. He was simply angry and wanted revenge. The point is that he did it with malice. He clearly wanted to kill someone and was prepared to do it. And although he did think Claudius was behind the curtain, and that's why he stabbed it, the point is that whoever he killed, he did with malice. He purposely did it thinking whoever was behind that curtain is going to get killed. So whether whoever it was with malice. And yes, because I believe that Hamlet was filled with revenge with many people, and that's what drove him to this act, and not that he was insane.
Defense, would you like to make a closing, very quick closing statement? Very quick.
Dear, why don't you put your shirt on?
Okay, so the prosecution claims Hamlet killed him with malice, but if you've heard, he is not controlling himself. The ghost is telling him what to do and how to do it. The ghost told him to kill King Claudius. His goal is not to kill Polonius. His goal is to kill King Claudius, which he was asked to by the ghost. Thank you.
All right, jurors, you have a job to do here. You have two options. You can either find Hamlet guilty of murder in the second degree, the murder of Polonius, or you can find him not guilty on all accounts due to diminished capacity and insanity. So think about it for just a moment, and we're going to vote by a showing of hands, raising of hands.
He's guilty.
Send him to the
Here we go.
No,
It goes to the
England. Not
Right,
the township.
witnesses.
England. That's what we
Order in the
agreed
court.
on.
Here we go. Have your decision in your minds. Are you ready? Jurors, that's all of you. I'm going to give you instructions. Here we go. If you find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree, raise your hand. Oh.
What? I don't know. Are we supposed to count his acting performance as part of the craziness? Because
Yes.
if so, then yes, he's insane. If not, then
Yeah.
he's guilty.
He's.
He's guilty.
She doesn't count.
I
Those
think
two
you
don't
don't
count.
Hands down. If you believe that the defendant is not guilty on all accounts due to diminished capacity and insanity, raise your hand.
I.
11, 12.
Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wait, somebody
1,
over
2,
there
3,
voted
4,
twice.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is
A hung jury?
If
You have a hung
hands
jury?
down, we have a hung jury in the case of Hamlet versus the state of Denmark.
wait, no.
13 voted that he was guilty and 13 voted that he was not guilty on all accounts. So the charges are dropped.
Oh, well. It's been a great pleasure working with all of you. Wonderful time. Oh, great. Oh, wonderful time. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.